Welcome to the Her Story Circle podcast, the podcast that brings you the extraordinary tales of everyday women who are changing the world. I'm your host, Gertrude Mache, and I'd like to acknowledge traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today. I also like to pay my respects to elders, past, present, and emerging. Every week, we dive into the lives, challenges, and triumphs of women from all four corners of the globe. We're here to inspire, enlighten, and connect, sharing stories that uplift and empower. So grab a cup of coffee, settle in, and join us as we explore the incredible journeys of women shaping our future. This is Her Story, where every woman's voice matters. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Her Story Circle. This is Gertrude Mache here in beautiful Melbourne, Australia. And today I am blessed with the presence of yet another fascinating woman. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our tribe. Please tell everybody your full name, where you're based, and share your story with us today.
Gertrude. My name is Reena Kukreja and I am in Vancouver, Canada. So a little bit about my story. I grew up in different countries. First, we studied in Kenya. My first primary school was in Kenya. And then my father used to be a physics teacher, school teacher. So then we moved to Botswana at the age of 12, where majority of my life was there. So I just remember one thing, that when I was a 12-year-old girl, I was in an assembly. We used to have assemblies in school, and I had this very strong vision. I had great parents, I had wonderful teachers, but I was thinking to myself, I need somebody when I grow up. I want to have somebody in my life. I didn't know the name or who this person is or what to call this person, but I needed somebody who is like a friend, who has my back, who I can share all my secrets with, and who can guide me, and who a grown-up who can show me the way, guide me, and have my back and cheer me up and help me feel validated. I didn't know what this person meant. And anyway, they say that there's two most important days in your life. One is the day you were born, and the other is the day you find out your why. So I went on, and this vision was in my mind for many, many years. I went into university. I was at the University of Botswana, and I went to do my master's in microbiology. I had no idea why I'm doing it. Everybody was doing it, so I just followed the crowd and did it. And I graduated from that, and I came out and I thought, this is not making any sense. Something's not fitting right. What is this? I went back to university and I did my PGDE, and I thought, okay, it must be that I need to be a teacher. I went back and I came and I became a high school teacher. And I was teaching high school kids. And I thought I found out my why. I was like, this is it. But it was still not, I was not in alignment. And it wasn't until 10 years ago that my first daughter was born, that I finally understood what this why is. I began to look at children in a different way. I started looking at them, that I saw that children need us to believe in them. They need us to help them understand who they are. They need us to love them unconditionally, to be there for them, to be their cheerleader, and they just need our presence. And if you are in the midst of raising children, you know this, that children give us as many opportunities in growth and development in ourselves more than what we give them. And even though they need our guidance in navigating a complex world, but it's these children who teach us. They're actually our teachers, who teach us to be more present, more authentic, and just looking at a flower and smelling it and being delightful, being right here, right now, not worrying about the past and the future. And so I started understanding this whole why started making sense to me. And then I moved to Canada 14 years ago, just before the birth of my first child. And I was still working out my what is this why. When my child was born and she was about 3 years old, I thought, you know what? I think I need to change the age. I'm teaching high school. I need to understand how to teach the little ones. So I went back to college and I did my early childhood education and I became an early childhood educator. And this is what I tell kids that this is what I tell people that my very first job was at a preschool where I got paid to play with my own child. So anyway, I became a preschool teacher where my own child was my student, and I loved it. I just loved being surrounded by little innocent beings who just lit me up, who taught me so much. But I still felt like I was in a box. I could not understand what this is. Some examples that I remember is I love, I love allowing children to take, measurable risks like climbing up a tree or doing risky things which actually help them grow. But I was always stopped. No, you do not allow a child to climb a tree. School is liable. It's not like there was rules that I understand where they came from, but it just did not fit. And then came, life's up and downs, and I was married for 15 years, and I had my divorce at around the same time. Um, and then I was going through a lot of dark period in my life, as we all know that we go through all this for a reason. It's every moment is a teacher. And then in 2020, when my second child was born, my child second born, who is 4 years old now, when she was born, that was the year that COVID had hit. I was in my rock bottom, and giving birth to a second child and a single mom was quite a difficult period. But that's the time that I got so much insight from so many different personal development programs like Mind Valley, Quantum Mind Academy, Dr. Joe Dispenza. They all came to me around the same time, and I got to understand, what am I here for? I finally understood. I started remembering myself when I was 12 years old, and I thought, that's who I want to be. I want to be a children's life coach. That's who they're called. So, kids life coach. I finally found out what this person is called, and I went into a certification on how to be a children's life coach, and I got training in that, and I figured out what my why is. And then I started doing this life coaching. I quit the school system, by the way. I quit in 2020, right before the birth of my second child, and I could not feel. I said, this is it. I'm in the right path at the right time. And I pulled out my older one as well, and I homeschool my kids now. And this is what I do, life coaching for kids. And my main thing is about empowering yourself so that you can empower children. And my main message that I'm so strongly passionate about is that empowering children begins with the words that we use, because the words that we use to speak to our children is what is going to shape them for the rest of their minds. For example, if your words must be uplifting and guidance oriented. And if you speak to children like they're the kindest and the wisest and the most magical beings in the world, that's who they will be. Because the way you speak to your children becomes their inner voice. And when I'm talking to kids, we talk about the mind, okay? So the mind, as we all know it, is divided into two, the subconscious mind and the conscious mind. So the conscious mind is the mind where we use, which is when you're awake and aware and you're reasoning and you're making decisions, solving problems. Then we also have the subconscious mind, which is the 95% of your mind, which is what works in the background. And it stores all the information that has been brought into children. So this age 0 to 7 years old, this is the time where that subconscious mind is being programmed, because this is the time where kids 0 to 7 is a time when they are not, their analytical mind is doesn't work. So whatever you tell them at this age, they completely believe in it and they accept it and they take it as the truth no matter what you tell them. So it's so important to be aware of what we are telling children at this age. And this becomes the what they will be. It's going to lay the foundation of what they will be when they are adults. So when I talk to kids about this mind, which is the subconscious mind, we call it in my coaching with kids, I call this subconscious mind a hummy, which is like a hummingbird, which is always, flying around. It's like your assistant. It's always there to help you out. And I teach kids, how can you train this hummy so that it's your assistant, so that it helps you out. And we have so much fun. We have so much fun with this. It's not, I can't really tell the kids it's a subconscious mind. We talk about it like it's a game, it's fun. And this is what I do, and I just love it. I've seen a huge improvements in the kids when they understand the power of this mind.
Absolutely fascinating story. Wow. It sounds to me like you've come a very long way and you embarked on a transformative journey through the various personal development programs that
Mhm.
you took part in 2021. So, how did these programs, including those with Joe Dispenza and Mind Valley,
Mhm.
influence your approach to coaching and personal growth?
Right. As you know, Gertrude, in Africa, we have this term Ubuntu, right? So this is something when I was growing up in Botswana, it's something that I saw firsthand. I used to be a volunteer in the Art of Living Foundation, and we used to go into the village. I think it was called Mahalape. We went into this village, and I actually saw this Ubuntu like firsthand. So in Africa, in the traditional tribes, when a child has done something wrong, they are not blamed and shamed and punished and made to feel bad. What happens is that the child is placed in the middle, and there's people surrounding, like in a circle all around. I saw this firsthand. And instead of telling the child what they've done wrong, the child was told all the things that they have actually done very good, the how they have been kind, how they have been helpful. And then the child is made to understand that the behavior is not the identity, that when you've done something bad, that doesn't mean you are bad, that just means you have made a mistake and we move on. And I saw this firsthand and I was amazed by it. And this is something that I don't see a lot in the West in the school system. So another thing is, when we were in that village, there was a foreigner who wanted to engage with the kids. So he brought a bowl of fruit and he put it near the tree. And he told the children, we're going to stand in this line, and everyone, when I say go, you're all going to run and grab and the person who gets to the fruit basket first gets to keep all the fruits, and they were very exotic fruits. You get to keep the fruits and you take some for your family. So are you ready? The children looked at each other and they said, yes. You will not believe what I saw. I saw that when he said go, the children did not run to grab the fruit. They held hands and they all ran and grabbed the fruit, and they all were considered winners because they were holding each other's hands. And this is what I saw firsthand, the true meaning of Ubuntu, which is just the interconnectedness that we can't exist as our own. We exist because of people around us. And that just gave me shivers all over my body. I said, this is it. This is the true thing about Ubuntu. And all these things, I had grown up with them, but they were placed somewhere at the back of my subconscious mind. And when I started doing all these personal development programs, it started coming back. I'm like, yes, that makes sense. It was like a puzzle. This fitted here. That makes sense. So I found out my true why, my purpose of what I need to do here. And many people ask me, they say, your kids are 10 and 4. You're homeschooling them as a single mom? Are you sure you know what you're doing? And I just say, you know what? In the West, especially, we give so much emphasis in left brain learning, which is the cognitive side of learning, and not give so much importance to the right brain. Kindergarten in German, Kinder means kids, children, and Garten means garden. So originally it's supposed to mean that you are a garden of children where you play together, where you build towers and break them, and you run around in clay and mud and you dirty yourselves. And that's what was happening in my childhood, which started coming back. But it's not about letters and numbers and counting and ABCs. No, it's about playing. And when you are doing this free play, our imaginary play, then things come like conflict resolution starts coming. How do you deal with frustration? These are the lessons that are learned when they're allowed to do free play. So I don't really care about if my daughters don't know all the capital cities of the world and the population. What matters to me is the soft skills that my kids know about emotional regulation, social skills, and just being authentic, being there. That's what really matters in today's world. Don't you agree?
That is so true. You also talk about breaking generational beliefs that women should prioritize other people's needs over their own. How did you recognize and overcome these beliefs? And what impact has it had on your life and your coaching practice?
Yes. So um, I watched a lot of adults in my childhood, and I don't blame my parents or my relatives, but when you know better, you do better, right? So what I observed with my mom, that is the first contact, was that she prioritized everyone else's needs before her own. And she would tell me, this is how it's done. This is how your grandma did it, and that's how your great grandma did it. You as a woman, you are the pillar. When my marriage broke in a few years ago, I was almost feeling like it's my fault because it's the woman who is the pillar who keeps marriages together.
Yeah.
And so I learned from her that I started recognizing that I am perpetuating that belief that
Mm.
my self-worth is measured by how much I can give to others. And if I'm wanting or desiring more, I'm being ungrateful or I'm being selfish. And I thought, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense. I need to break the cycle. I need to break it right now. I did not care about what people thought about me or what they would say. I said, this is how I'm going to do things. And I just found myself, I found that strength within me. When you're in alignment with your heart, then you
Yeah.
get this intuitive guidance that comes from within. When you just go deep within your heart, that intuitive guidance came and said, no, prioritizing your needs comes first. If you want to be a better mother, you better be good to yourself. If you
Yes.
want to be a better friend, take care of your needs. You want to be a better teacher. First, love yourself. First, know what is it that I need first so I can give. You can't serve from an empty cup. So I
Yeah.
started filling up my cup and that's how I became so much better than a better teacher, a better friend, a better parent, a better everything because I started taking care of my own needs. I just broke down. I said, this is the generational patterns that I need to cut right now. This is not how I want my kids to grow up thinking others are more important than me.
That is just absolutely awesome. Yeah, sometimes we do forget to put ourselves first. And as women, it's a real issue, and it's
Mhm.
so ingrained sometimes you don't even think about it. It's just something you've observed, you've watched, and so you copy those who came before you. So, as a devoted mom who's homeschooling her two daughters, how do you integrate your coaching principles into your homeschooling methods? And what unique challenges and rewards have you experienced through homeschooling?
Um, when I took this deep dive 2 years ago, I was very unsure. I was asking myself, what am I doing? Am I messing up my kids for the rest of their lives? What's going on? And Gertrude, when I started researching this, believe me, I found incredible community. I just recognized that the Ubuntu, I cannot do this by myself. If
Yes.
I had to homeschool my kids by myself, I would be exhausted. I would not even, I probably wouldn't be alive. But it's the community. I found like minded people. They started appearing. I felt like I've come home. I found the most amazing parents in the homeschooling community. And I don't teach my kids alone. We teach our kids together. We teach it together. And luckily for me in Canada, this is legal. There's countries around the world where it's not allowed. And I
Right.
was so grateful that this is something that not only is it legal, but there's thousands. And I thought it would be a handful of families. There's thousands of families who are doing it this way. And you if I have spoken to children who learn in it's called a different way of learning, because it's not like they're not learning, they're learning differently. When you're
Yes.
learning in nature, the mud will wash off, but the lessons is for the lifetime. Let
Mm.
nature be your teacher. I want to bring up children who can recognize plants and animals more than they can recognize brands and celebrities. I want to raise children who are so in tune with nature that they feel at home just being in nature, going through sand and feeling and touching sand and feeling and building towers. They're learning every second of the day. When is it that they're not learning? Why do we have to be? I understand some people would, it's not a choice, they have to take their kids to school so that they can go to work. And but it was actually my daughter who suggested this. She said, Mom, I look out the window, and every time I'm looking out the window, my teacher's telling me to come back. I can't focus, I need to go outside. And I
Oh,
started doing the research, and she is thriving. She is so thriving. She is so able, she's a better communicator, she's a better friend. A connection between her and I has grown in many, many folds, because
yeah.
I have that time to spend with her. I have that time to guide her and learn from her. She's like my mini coach. When I do coaching, she comes by my side and she talks about the hummy, the assistant in the mind.
I love it. Now, COVID-19 pandemic was a turning point for many.
Yes.
How did this period influence your decision to transition from suffering to thriving? And what specific challenges and changes did you make to your life and your career?
Mhm. So one of the main things I understood, which I was struggling with before 2020, that 2020, my daughter was, how old was she? 7. So a time where her analytical side of her mind was starting to grow. And
Yes.
we were starting to get into this conflict. And I thought, why am I'm such a great teacher and I can talk to other kids. What is going on? Why am I not connecting with my daughter? What's going on? I started understanding a lot of things through these personal development programs. Is one of the main biggest thing is, I thought to myself, is that I am reasoning with my child when she is very emotional. When a child is so emotional, no new information gets in. When a
Yes.
child is emotional and frustrated and angry, what I need to do is just sit there with her, look at her in the eyes, and just help her feel seen, help her feel validated, and help her feel loved. I don't need to say anything because nothing's going to get in. And as soon as I did that, we just sat there without words. And she was able to regulate herself. And at bedtime, this is something that I do every night with my two kids, is that this is something I learned, which really, really works, which I think the audience can also learn from, is that when you go to bed, review the day. So I start with saying, oh, today when I was driving, I did a mistake. I started yelling at the guy who came in front of me. He did not even hear me, but I lost my calm. Oh, I don't think I should have done that. Maybe next time I will be more mindful about what that driver could be going through to suddenly come on my side. That's where
Yeah.
I messed up today. I start talking about how I could do better. And then that opens up the doorway for her to start talking about her day and what she did, something that she regrets. And then what we do is we go through the same situation imaginary. Okay, let's say we're going through this again. How would we do it differently?
Mm.
So I say, okay, let's say I'm driving again and somebody comes in front. I'll take a deep breath. Okay, then that person must be really stressed. It's okay. I'm safe. So I go through that and then she goes through that. And this way, as she's going to bed, she's going in an empty, she's not going in a full mind. She's going in a calm mind where she can
Yes.
understand. So all these lessons, I mean, I've not got it all. I'm a forever learner. I'm learning every single day, a lot from the children, a lot from the situations. I haven't got it figured out, but I'm forever learning.
I love it. And I think that's what we all should be, constantly evolving,
Yes.
learning from situations as they arise,
Hmm.
because nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. And it sounds to me like COVID ended up being a real
A
learning
blessing.
point for you. Yes,
Yes.
that's just incredible. You came out of COVID and you started empowering children.
Hmm.
How do you help children build confidence, resilience, and a lifelong love for learning through your coaching? And
Hmm.
can you share a success story of a child who has benefited significantly from your guidance?
Sure. Yes. So the way we look at it is like it's a game, it's fun, it's play, nothing is serious. But at the same time, the learnings in them are so deep and profound. So when I talk to kids about the subconscious mind, I tell them this there's three stories. I'll share one of the stories. I tell them, imagine there's a person who wants to start a shoe factory in a village in South Africa, and this man come brings two people, person A and person B, and he tells them both to go to this village and assess the opportunities to develop a shoe factory. Now this is a village which people do not wear shoes. People go bare feet and they wear skins and plants and everything. So both of them came back to the boss, and person A said, I'm so sorry, this is not going to work out. Nobody wears shoes. It's a bad idea. Person B says, this is amazing. This is the best place to set up a shoe factory because nobody wears shoes. Same situation, but they look at it differently. So
Mm.
this is what the subconscious, I teach them about the mind and the power of the mind and how you can use it to assist yourself. We go through a lot of exercises. It's about a 12-week program. First they do the 12-week program and then they get into a 7-month program with me if when they want to continue. And what I've got back, the reason I'm still doing this is the feedback. What I've got back from the parents, they text me and they send me messages and they say, this has been really helpful to us. Gertrude, if someone came to me and said to me that there's a child coach for my 10-year-old, I am going to jump into the opportunity because
Mm.
I cannot raise my kid alone. I need the whole village. So I would allow my child, of course, I would know who this person is, what the person does, but I would be open to having this children's coach my child. Often children listen to others way more
Sarah,
than their own parents. So the feedback that I've gotten is what keeps me going, and they're ever so grateful, ever so thankful for the changes that they have and the connection they have between their kids.
I love it. It's wonderful when you get that feedback from
Yes.
people that you're serving. So
Mhm.
you are passionate about public speaking and collaborating with like-minded individuals.
Yes.
How has this passion influenced your work? And what are some memorable speaking engagements or collaborations that you've participated in?
Yes. So this is something new that I'm exploring since this year. I am looking into public speaking. I want to speak out in front of large audiences. And when I say I have a big dream about going on a TED talk, a few years ago I would have thought I'm crazy, but right now I see this huge word in front of me which says possibility. It's possible. So the first step I have gotten through is the openness to this is possible. And then
Mm.
I'm going to look into what are the next steps to do to get into that stage. And to so what I'm doing, I'm basically speaking in with people. It's not big stages. It could be at a school, or it could be at the Toastmasters where I go sometimes to, or it could be my homeschooling community where I want to just speak because I'm so passionate about children and the way we speak to them. Um, I want to share one story. It's really hilarious, if I can, about my 4-year-old. When she was 2.5, almost 3, when she was almost 3, she started speaking from a very young age. So 2.5-year-old, I'm getting into Costco, and she's on the cart. She's sitting there and she's waving at people. You know how kids are. Everyone is their friend. The whole world is their own world. So this elderly couple comes back and comes near her, and they stop and they exchange words. Hi, how old are you? What's your name? And then they asked this question that I'm like, oh no. Do you know what they asked her? They said,
But
so what do you want to be when you grow up? So this is what my 3-year-old said. I know what I want to be. I want to be a unicorn. And they said, what? No, you have choices. You can be a doctor, you can be a teacher, you can be a dentist, you can be an artist. And they started going on. She stopped them. No, you choose. I can be a unicorn or I can be a witch. And their jaw dropped. They're like, what? You
oh,
cannot be a witch. She's like, yes, I can. My mom told me I can be anything I want to, so I am going to choose. You choose, unicorn or witch. They went back and forth, and they gave up. They could not. They gave up, and they gave me looks like I'm doing something wrong, but I just laughed. I could not stop laughing. But
it
this is
sounds
the
like a feisty little thing.
power of, where children are made to understand that they have the power within them. They can be who they want to be. You don't have to be a doctor when you grow up. And it's so limiting to ask a child, what do you want to be when you grow up? Right?
That
So,
is so interesting.
yeah. So,
She was clear what her aspirations were, and that was the important thing.
yes,
So now
yes.
let's finish off with you going back to your past, to that younger woman
Hmm.
who was bringing up her little girls, going through a divorce, getting your life settled. If you could go back and give her 3 nuggets of wisdom based on what life has taught you up until this point,
Mhm.
what 3 nuggets of wisdom can you share?
I would tell her one word which has 3 letters. And I actually want to tattoo that on my arm. And that one word with 3 letters is fly. FLY, which stands for first love yourself. It's okay to take a break. It's okay to serve cereal for dinner. It's okay. It's okay to take a break and not do anything and just sip a cup of tea by the window. It's okay. Love yourself first. I wish someone had told me that when I was a new mom, that it's okay to love yourself first and set that boundary. And when somebody calls you and say, we have this going on, just say one word if you can't do it. No. No is a complete sentence. It's okay. So I would really give that nugget is just fly. First love yourself.
I absolutely love that. And it's so true. We aren't taught to love ourselves at all. Well, thank you so much for coming online and sharing your wisdom with our community today. And thank you to everybody who's tuned in. I have got the website at the bottom of the screen. If you want to reach out, get some advice about your children, this is what this show is about. The Her Story Circle is a social impact movement. We bring you the stories and voices of people from all over the world to uplift you, energize you, inspire you, but most importantly, empower you with the knowledge and the skills to move you from where you are now to where you want to go. So tune in again tomorrow when I interview yet another amazing guest. In the meantime, have a fantastic day, morning, or evening, wherever you are in the world. Thank you for this beautiful interview. Bye for
Thank
now.
you. Bye.
Thank you for tuning into the Her Story Circle podcast. I hope today's story has inspired you to believe in the power of our stories and the difference you can make in the world when you use your voice. I'm Gertrude Mache, and it's been an honor to share this space with you, where voices from all walks of life come together to weave a rich tapestry of diverse perspectives. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review our podcast to help us share these stories with more listeners. Follow us on social media by looking for the Her Story Circle podcast for more updates. And join us tomorrow for another episode filled with courage, resilience, and empowerment. Remember, your story matters, and together we're building a stronger, more inclusive world. Until next time, keep making